A young woman named Katie Abraham had her whole life ahead of her. 20 years old, a student, a daughter, a future, until a drunk illegal alien that Illinois protected killed her in a car crash and fled to Texas using fake documents. Today, her father sat in Congress watching sanctuary state governors squirm under oath, unable to explain why they shield killers over citizens. But the one thing they couldn't do? Look him in the eye and justify their policies, because there is no justification. Governor Pritzker went silent. Governor Walz refused to apologize for calling ICE agents Nazis. Governor Hochul admitted she has no idea how many illegals drain New York resources. The mask didn't just slip today, they shattered completely. Keep watching. We've got all of the video. Now, when governors fail to protect their citizens, parents must step up to protect their children. And that's why education matters now more than ever. While sanctuary states push their agenda in schools, smart parents are arming their kids with the truth. I'm talking about the Tuttle Twins magazine. It teaches children real economics, actual history, and personal responsibility, not government dependence. Through engaging comics and activities, kids learn why freedom matters and how free markets work. No political indoctrination, just timeless principles about liberty and individual rights. And right now, you can get a full year subscription for a loved one, a niece, a nephew, a grandchild, your son or your daughter, for just $56 at TuttleTwins.com/next, because freedom is never more than one generation from extinction. And that generation is learning right now. So the sanctuary state reckoning, it just began. 3 Democrat governors learned what accountability feels like when you can't hide behind friendly media. Sadly, Katie Abraham's blood is on their hands, and Congress made sure America saw it. Chairman James Comer opened the hearing with the brutal truth these governors don't want you to hear. Watch him confront them all with the real cost of their sanctuary policies.
Today, the House Oversight Committee will continue to examine the consequences of reckless and dangerous sanctuary policies that jeopardize public safety. 3 sanctuary state governors from Minnesota, New York, and Illinois are here to testify under oath about why they allow criminal illegal aliens to roam free in American communities. Let me be clear. Sanctuary policies do not protect Americans. They protect criminal illegal aliens. That is a fact that the Abraham family knows all too well. With us today is the father of Katie Abraham, Joe, and Katie's stepmother, Michelle. In January of this year, Katie was tragically killed in a car crash near the University of Illinois in Urbana. Urbana, like the state of Illinois, is a sanctuary jurisdiction. Katie's killer was a previously deported criminal illegal alien who was driving drunk. He fled the scene and the jurisdiction and was later apprehended by the U.S. Marshal Service in Texas. Katie was just 20 years old. She had a bright future ahead of her that was stolen from her and her very loving family.
20 years old. Her killer, previously deported illegal alien driving drunk. These governors enabled her death with their policies. The most devastating moment came when Comer directly asked Governor Pritzker about Katie's killer. Watch Pritzker try to dodge the question, the one question that matters the most. Watch.
Governor Pritzker, this illegal alien should never have been here. He didn't just flee the scene. He fled the state and was apprehended by federal marshals in Texas using a false name. He now faces criminal charges for reckless homicide, leaving the scene of an accident resulting in death, and driving under the influence resulting in death. And he faces a federal indictment for having a fraudulent permanent resident card, a fraudulent Social Security card, and a fraudulent use of passport. Governor Pritzker, do you agree that this illegal alien who killed Katie should never have been in the United States in the first place?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, let me express my condolences to the family, and those are terrible circumstances. Let me also say that anyone who commits a crime in the state of Illinois.
I understand, Governor. Should that criminal have been here in the first place? Did he have a right to be in this country illegally?
If the person is a criminal of any sort, then they ought to be.
So that person had a right to be in the United States.
They ought to be given their due process rights, and they ought to be convicted. And
the criminal who
yes.
entered this country illegally.
He couldn't even answer whether the illegal alien should have been here. He knows the answer. We all know the answer. Katie would be alive if Illinois enforced the law. New York Governor Kathy Hochul made an absolutely stunning admission about how little these sanctuary states actually track, and this is going to blow your mind.
$1 billion. I appreciated that very much. What we spend on immigrants, the immigrants who are here hardworking to live a life and working on our farms and taking care of our parents in nursing homes and taking care of our children, they have been coming here for 400 years. And we don't keep track of individuals based on their status. We make sure that people have services so we don't end up with an unexpected.
So essentially what you're telling me is that you keep no track of money that is going to people who are not legal in the United States, resources that are taken away from New Yorkers, resources that are taken away from Illinoisans. You guys do not keep track of any of this.
You know what's really challenging is that many people came here with legal status. I mean, temporary protective status, 300,000.
Do you
all of a sudden they wake up one day and it's gone.
Do you go along with the strategy from the Biden administration, which massively expanded immigration protocols that overwhelmed your city and overwhelmed your state? Do you agree with that?
We call for secure borders. We call for this body to
I never
do its
remember
job.
you calling for secure borders at all, Governor Hochul.
We certainly have.
That
We
doesn't
certainly
sound
have.
like him to my memory.
Many conversations.
She has no idea how many illegals are in New York. No idea how much money they're getting. No tracking whatsoever. Your tax dollars disappearing into a black hole. And then came the moment Tim Walz was exposed as the radical that he really is. When confronted about calling ICE agents Gestapo, watch his pathetic response. Watch.
Earlier that the ICE agents under the orders of President Trump are a modern-day Gestapo. Do you realize how disgusting a phrase that is, considering the history of Nazi Germany? Would you like to recant that statement?
What I said, Congressman, and I have a long history of supporting law enforcement, I said President Trump was using them as his modern-day Gestapo, not identifying who you are, coming up in unmarked vans, taking people away and giving...
Is it the responsibility of ICE to actually deport illegal aliens in the United States who are here? Isn't that their responsibility?
Yes, it is, Congressman, except that the Constitution is not an inconvenience. It's not an either-or.
Nobody said an inconvenience. You have a responsibility to deport illegal aliens, and the president is going through that process right now. And let's be very clear, the previous administration, they abused every process there is under border laws to allow more than 10 million people into the country illegally. And this is a burden on all Americans. And so the president is doing his job. So it is sick to refer to Americans who are ICE agents as Gestapo. Governor, you're wrong. You need to apologize to these agents. They're doing their jobs. They are Americans. They serve this country with honor and decency and respect. Do not diminish their work simply because you tried to make a cheap point that you could tweet. I yield back.
Oh, man, Byron Donalds, man. Gotta love it. See, he won't apologize for comparing American law enforcement to Nazis. See, these are the people protecting criminal aliens while attacking the officers who protect us. Tom Emmer was absolutely demolished. He demolished Tim Walz with facts about Minnesota's sanctuary disaster. This is must-see footage of a governor getting destroyed by truth. Enjoy.
Work with law enforcement to enforce the law. In May 2020, looting, acts of violence, and arson occurred on your watch in Minneapolis after you refused to bring in the National Guard. Governor, your agenda is clear. Free health care, free college and driver's licenses for illegals while handcuffing law enforcement when they're trying to protect our citizens and their communities. If you think that's not a sanctuary state, you shouldn't be governor. By turning Minnesota into a magnet for illegals, you have opened up our communities to dangerous criminals, including known terrorists, gang members, murderers, and child predators. You have sent a resounding message that if you're a hardworking, law-abiding citizen of Minnesota, your safety and well-being are not the priorities of Tim Walz and his administration. But if you're coming to our state illegally, you're not only welcome with open arms, you're entitled to free stuff on the taxpayer's dime. This is absolutely disgraceful. Governor Walz, your sanctuary state agenda has been defined by your utter failure. You have failed to enforce the rule of law. You have failed to uphold our national sovereignty. And most importantly, you have failed the people of Minnesota. The time for radical sanctuary state policy, sir, is over. The voters made that clear last November when they elected President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance. You remember him, don't you? Governor, the time for real leaders and real leadership is now.
Tim Walz's face. Free health care and licenses for illegals while handcuffing law enforcement. Minnesota's become a magnet for terrorists, gang members, and child predators under Walz. James Comer then exposed Walz's lies about the border in less than 60 seconds. Watch how quickly the truth destroys Democrat talking points. Go.
Do you believe that the Biden-Harris administration secured the border? You mentioned it's the federal government's role to secure the border to protect Americans from illegals entering the country, I guess. Do you think they did a good job of that?
I think the border has been broken for a very long time through many administrations. It's one of the reasons why Vice President Harris was advocating so strongly for the bipartisan bill.
Did she mention her role as the border czar when you all were out campaigning? Or?
Not that I can recall, other than that we talked about the need to pass the bipartisan border legislation that would have done many of the things that, as a governor, I know would have made our jobs easier.
But President Trump secured the border without any legislation. I mean, that was kind of a myth that was in the media and a Democrat talking point that we needed legislation to secure the border. The border's secure.
Everything's fixed.
That's step one. Step two is to deport the criminal illegals, and that's where we're facing obstruction in your all state.
In your state. Trump secured the border without any legislation. The whole "we need a bill" excuse was a lie. Now it's time to deport the criminals that these governors protect. But the real fireworks came when Representative Brandon Gill stumped Pritzker with his own tweet. This is the clip that went mega viral. Watch.
Do you think men should be allowed in women's restrooms?
I'm not sure why this has come to this issue.
You tweeted that as a protest against President Trump, everyone should use the other gender's bathroom today. Have you ever used the women's restroom?
Not that I can recall ever, sir.
You wanted everybody else to do it, but you didn't?
Sir, I'm not sure why we're on a topic that has nothing to do with today's hearing.
You're advocating for men to use women's restrooms, but you didn't do it?
I do not advocate that, no.
Well, actually, you did. You said everyone should use the other gender's bathroom today.
I can tell you that you are politicizing this in a way that what we ought to be focusing on is
do you regret
failure
encouraging
of the federal
men to use women's restrooms
and the Congress to deal with immigration reform.
Do you regret encouraging men to use women's restrooms?
Again, you're taking us on topics that have.
Did you ever consider that women don't want you in their bathrooms?
Pritzker tweeted that everybody should use the opposite gender's bathroom just to protest Trump. But when asked if he ever did it himself, dead silence. Complete hypocrisy exposed. Democrat Congressman Stephen Lynch then showed his true colors, invoking Nazis while defending sanctuary policies. The rhetoric, it's getting dangerous. Watch.
I'm proud of my Democratic colleagues who are willing to stand up to this thuggery. Trump is a wannabe gangster, and he's showing the world what he's about. And I'm proud. You know, my dad served in Second World War. He fought the Nazis in Northern Africa. He fought the Nazis on the Italian peninsula. And I think he's looking down right now and he's happy that I'm fighting today's Nazis. He's proud of that.
Wow.
We all should be.
Wow. His father fought actual Nazis Now he's dishonoring that legacy by comparing immigration enforcement to the Third Reich. This is how low they've sunk. Then the hearing crescendoed when Rashida Tlaib had a complete meltdown, screaming about dishwashers and Home Depot workers. Pure, unhinged emotion replacing any logical argument. Watch.
The President of the United States benefited financially and personally by having a broken immigration system that keeps our immigrant neighbors in a broken system that doesn't allow them to come out of the shadows. Why? Because that's cheap labor. Let's be honest. They're arresting dishwashers, people at Home Depot at work, and their donors benefit. You know it. The restaurant industry benefit. They know exactly what they're doing. If they even wanted to fix this immigration system, they'd go to the people that employ them. And we know it. Now, detention centers. Guess who's going to benefit from private detention centers and holding our immigrant neighbors? Their donors. So shame on us in bringing these governors here when we know exactly what is happening here. This is all for profit, all for cruelty, and fear and division. Fix our economic system in our country. People are starving. People can't afford basic needs. And you're ripping our loved ones away from us because you don't have the courage to fix our broken immigration system. It's been inhumane for decades. Shame on us, both Democrats and Republicans, for not doing what's right in this chamber and doing what is right for the American people and making sure we're not separating families. With that, Mr. Chair, I yield.
Yeah, yield, baby. They're arresting our dishwashers. As if that justifies protecting drunk drivers who kill college students. This is the moral bankruptcy of the sanctuary movement on full display. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. Katie Abraham is dead because Democrat governors value illegal aliens over American lives. Now, I'm going to tell you, that's not rhetoric. That is a fact. Her killer should have never been here, but Illinois protected him anyway. Today, we watched 3 governors squirm and dodge and deflect rather than admit their policies kill Americans. Pritzker wouldn't answer simple questions. Walz won't apologize for calling ICE agents Nazis. Hochul had no clue how many illegals drain New York's resources. They took oaths to protect citizens, then built sanctuaries for criminals instead. Every drunk driving death, every violent assault, every American victim of an illegal alien exists because these governors chose politics over people. Katie's father had to watch these cowards refuse to take responsibility for their daughter's death. That is not leadership. It is betrayal. So here's my question. Should sanctuary state governors face criminal charges when illegals that they protect kill Americans? Yes or no? Drop your answer below. And if you want to support our work, visit our merch shop and show the world where you stand. It's linked in the description.